Guys, in this first clip, we have great ball movement where we switch the ball from the left side to the right side. When we switch this ball back, it ends up coming back around through our defense. JR, you're too slow to recognize that the ball is being switched back around, and therefore you don't work hard enough to get down to the sideline where Fernando on the left side can see you and play an easy pass to exit where you can break down the line. Here you can see you stop your jog to the sideline. You need to be sprinting wide here to get to that spot before Fernie receives the ball, whoever that left back is, so that they can see you wide. And if they can't see you, then they'll be able to see either a forward or a center mid because of that. One little cue we have here is David receives this ball across his body and is turned to his own goal, which means he's probably going to go to the center back or the goalkeeper. It is in these times where we're often able to switch the ball through the back, and this is a good cue or indicator where we can start really getting out to the sideline to open up the space in case that ball comes across your way. This is the definition of why we cut off the line. Seamus, you do a brilliant job here forcing him inside where Chato, Connor, Kalani, and David are all waiting in the middle for the ball to be served so that we can win it. JR, brilliant heads-up play to one touch, set the ball to Owen to get this shot off. I love everything about this. Watch it one more time, but really focus on the center mid. The center mid is the outlet in this option, as I've taught you guys to do when teams defend us this way. Well done, Connor and Chato, for cutting off the angle, making that pass really difficult, and David being on his feet ready to receive that through ball. Connor, you might have been a little bit delayed here. You can get skin tight to this guy and actually try to win the ball if it's served into his feet. Ball's over the top of you, Kalani as a center back could clean up. David, this is such a precise ball, and JR, this is the definition of knowing what you're going to do with the ball before it comes to you. This next clip is a clip of Connor using his body super well. I love how he positions his body and bumps into the player before taking the ball, which knocks him off balance and allows him to freely take it. Following that, you have some explosive dribbles into the space and distribute at the right time, getting the ball into the right space, which is out wide. As you guys know, I love it when we switch positions naturally during the run of play to maximize our efficiency in both the space that we use and conserving energy. Kalani, you're our right back right now. You have switched with David previously in the run of play. David, you're our center back. You have switched with Kalani during the run of play. I'm fine with this. I like this. And we have Fernando as our left back and Connor as our center mid. Connor does a good job tracking his man and winning the ball all the way deep and becomes kind of our center back just naturally by chasing the ball down. Kalani, you do a really good job of recognizing that Connor has moved down into the center back space and you move into that center mid space which was open where Connor previously was. And David, naturally you slide into the right back space. I love this. This is the perfect way to keep our shape while naturally conserving energy instead of having Connor sprint back into the center mid spot while we have a clutter of players in the back line. Owen, it's been a long process getting you to cut off defenders, but man, this is awesome. I love how you slow up here and adjust yourself to force the goalie to go to the side that we want him to go so that the whole team can squeeze him defensively. If their wingers are marking us super high, one option that we could consider is playing a firm driven ball between their winger and their center mid into our winger's feet. Kalani, you end up calling Jair onto this ball when it's Jair's responsibility to do that. Jair, since Kalani is calling you onto it, it means he hasn't heard any command from you. You need to make earlier decisions to either say away or keepers. Those are the two options. And they have to be made and communicated earlier. Seamus, this is the goal kick we were talking about. You need to be inside just a little bit. Kalani, it's actually a really good ball there. Seamus, you can position yourself halfway between their winger and their center mid. David, this is a great tackle here. Fernie, when you're carrying the ball up the field, you're probably going to have to send it wide before we can go forward with it. Going straight down the middle is too hard to do because the goalkeeper will just sweep any ball that goes a little bit too far, and anything too short the defenders will be able to intercept. So instead of going straight down the middle, make a diagonal wide ball into either it's Seamus or JR on the wings, and then they can serve it back into the middle to where Chato is to get the shot off. David, your corner kicks were awesome this weekend. This is where we almost get a shot off, but Chateau recycles it out wide. Good decision instead of trying to turn into defenders. And then he almost gets the bike. Unlucky, buddy. Here's a nice little golazo. David, that's a beautiful ball out of the back right after we win it. And Chateau, you do a good job of driving down the line. This is a nice finish too, Alex. Well done. Tyler, here's a highlight from you. I love when you go to put pressure on a ball. If it is passed backwards and it's a short pass, you continue to run by the man who had the ball and put pressure on the next guy. And if the pass back is a longer pass backwards where we can't press adequately, then you drop back into position. I love the pressure you put here. Alex, this is just great hard work and spatial awareness to sprint down to the sideline and open up so David, who's receiving this ball under pressure, can play out nice and easy. Tyler, here's another one from you. Often defenders get neglected in highlights and stuff, but this is just pure hustle. You actually track down, I think it's 3 guys here, going from one person to the other because they're playing short passes between each other. And you track this guy, then you switch on to this guy, ball gets off his foot, you tackle him, and then you go to the next guy too, and you keep going and putting pressure the entire time, not letting them breathe. This is awesome work, buddy. Here we have a little redo from last time when Kalani and Jair didn't communicate with the ball. Here, Jair, you do an awesome job of calling early and telling David that you have this ball. You say keepers and you clear that ball before there's any danger. Well done. Following that, Fernie, you just got to be careful here and not step to this guy with the ball unless you are 100% sure that he can't slip it to your guy in behind here. You end up stepping and the ball gets slipped in behind, which creates a 4v3 defensively, which stresses the defense. Alex, I included your sneaky little mag here. Tyler, here's another one where we have a turnover and you end up tracking down 3 guys. And even though you don't win the ball and you feel like you're chasing the ball all over the place, meanwhile, it's delaying their offense so that we have time to get numbers back. And by the time you finish chasing, we already have 6 guys behind the ball and there's nothing they can do. And that's just good hard work that delays their offense and allows us to get numbers behind the ball. I always tell our outside backs that the best time to join the play is right off of a switch through the middle of the park. So their center mid switches the ball from the right side of the field to the left side of the field, and that guy on the side, the FCB number 98, he is actually their left back joining the play late, which is the perfect time to join as an outside back is off a switch. And Seamus, we're just a little bit behind the play and we don't recognize it fast enough, and they're able to switch the ball through him and score a goal because of it. Sammy, you're also a little bit too high here. If you can recognize that that guy is making a run down the line, he is actually becoming the winger. So if you start dropping off or drifting out, you and Seamus can switch guys right here if you recognize that. But you don't even see that he's running, and then it gets past you and down the line. We can all learn from this left back right here. He plays this ball across his body one touch. This is how you get past someone who's trying to cut off the line. Sammy, here you cannot step to this ball without being 100% sure that you can cut off the guy behind you, because the guy behind you is more dangerous and that's the guy that you're responsible for. If you can cut this guy off and win the ball, then I'm fine with it, but you just have to be careful. Kalani and other defenders. Defending a guy this big, taking the body won't do you much because he's just going to be able to bully you off the ball. So at some point, you got to just dig in and get the ball with a strong tackle, either by sliding or by standing up. Again, boys, this is exactly why we cut off the line. JR, you do a good job of trapping his outside option and forcing him inside. You strip the ball and get a good shot off. And JR, I'm having a little bit of deja vu, but this time you put the ball in the back of the net. Well done. And a nice little golazo from Chato. This is a great shot from distance. Seamus, you did a really good job of cutting off the line in the first half. In the second half, they slipped some by you on that side. Just be careful and make sure you cut off that line so they don't have that easy outlet option. Tyler, I don't know if you realize this, but you did a really nice hook tackle right here. Check out the slow motion here. Again, David, awesome corner kicks this weekend. And Owen, way to get on the end of this. This is another Chato golazo. Good pass, Seamus, over here to Chato. And Chato, beautiful rocket on this shot. That's why we eat our vegetables, right? For those of you that don't know, Connor's teaching dance lessons on Monday and Wednesdays. Connor, you just shook this guy so bad. Here's a little game management here. Alex, you need to be working super hard to get down to the line and open up for an easy outlet option for Tyler. Kalani, this goal kick probably should have gone long since we're only up by 1 goal with a couple minutes left. And Tyler, this ball definitely shouldn't have gone back to Kalani or Jair. I'm okay with this in other game scenarios, but this is only a minute left in the game. Alex and Owen, you are two forwards, and therefore one of you needs to stay high at least, but both of you should be somewhat higher up the field. Alex, you actually drop below Fernando, who is our defensive midfielder, and you're supposed to be more of an attacking midfielder slash forward. And Owen, you drop in as well, which when we win the ball and clear the ball, we have no one to play to, so we end up just playing into their back line. At least one of you need to stay high so that we can have an outlet option when we win the ball. Sammy, first of all, great job to beat this player down the line and get forward with it. Now, this sideline is kind of clogged with red defenders once the camera turns. If we could switch the ball through Fernando, our defensive midfielder, and go out the other side, there's so much space on the other side. If we try to jam it up the side where the ball has already been for a while, it's going to be much harder to do than to switch the ball and find space on the other side. Finding our center midfielder would have been one of the things I wish we did more of that last weekend. Powers, for you, my biggest thing is getting more comfortable with receiving a ball with a man on your back. Too often this weekend, you were turning into defenders right into their path where they were able to make tackles and steal the ball from you. You got to get more comfortable in receiving the ball with a defender on your back and playing in front of you rather than trying to turn every time. Now, it's not wrong to turn, but you just have to pick your spots when you do that. Guys, FCC literally just launched the ball out of the back the entire game, and our game sense was zero. We didn't recognize what they were doing. They were just playing kick and run. This is the easiest type of team to play against if defended right. Remember when we played Guatemala last year? We were down 1-0 within the first minute and ended up beating them 13-2 because we simply dropped our midfield line really deep to win balls and our defensive line even deeper to clean up all the rest. We need to do better. 7 players can't have the ball kicked over their heads. And Kalani, this ball cannot get past you as the last man back with an easy aerial clearance for them to get on a breakaway. It's simply just not good enough. This is excellent execution of the goal kicks I was talking about in the last game. JR, great positioning between their forward and their wingers who are pushing high. Kalani, this is a great ball you play to JR. One thing I would like to add to this is Tyler, I would like you to come underneath JR so that he has an easy pass pack option once that ball is played. You simply have to do a 2-step acceleration past the man that's in front of you. Seamus, well done recognizing the hole there and getting into that same position that JR did between their winger and their forward. Jair, look at your starting position for this goal kick. You are way out of your net, which I don't mind you cheating a little bit, but you got to stay on your goal line. I'd rather you start from your goal line and run out to challenge a ball rather than stand out and try to backtrack if the ball is going on target. This is a great golazo coming off a switch. So we end up winning the ball here, and it goes through Connor, out wide to David. It's just a great switch. We go from one side of the field to the other, and then hit a nice, good shot. Well done, Dave. Guys, here's another terrible example of us not dropping deep enough to respect their long ball. If we all just drop our midfield line and our defensive line, we win this ball every single time. But we have 8 players standing, watching as the ball gets served over pretty much everyone. And then again, this time it's Fernando, misses the aerial touch, bounces over our head, and they get an opportunity to go forward. This is unacceptable. For teams we play that bomb the ball forward and just kick it and run, we need to drop and respect it, win it, and then counterattack. All right, guys. So overall, very well done this weekend. A lot of good things. We moved the ball really well. We kept good possession. We defended well as a unit. We covered each other. We switched positions naturally during the run of play, and there was a lot of good to take away. Now the bad, all right? 2 main things I walked away with is one, we need to, as a team, be able to recognize the solution to games earlier. The second team bombed long balls. They played kick and run. It wasn't pretty soccer. They just launched the ball. But we didn't drop off. Our midfield line kept getting balls played over the top of them, and our defensive line were making simple errors in our aerial clearances. We need to recognize solutions to games earlier. If a team plays long balls every single time, then we need to all drop every single time. If a team builds up every single time, then we can start pressing and using our strength, which is our press, to start turning the ball over. If the teams use both tactics at different times, then we're going to have to adjust and figure out how to stop them. Secondly, we need to work on our finishing. We had way more chances in both games, yet we only won by 1 and lost by 1 when we had probably about double the opportunities of the other team. We need to do better in this area as well, and I'll help you by adding a lot of finishing in our training, especially in the technical trainings on Tuesdays and Thursdays.